masters. Good day to you, partner. I'm Guy, and I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken cave.
Hey guys, Wheat Solo here, aka the Skeleton King. So this is my level 84 Necromancer who's gonna ding to 85 with his pretty shitty gear. Trang's chest is just amazing. You put 2 shales in it. I have a rock stopper. That's my swap helm. I'm like all in on rock stoppers now. They're like the most amazing budget helm. Put a shale into that. I get 86 FHR. I have 48 FCR. I'm going to be running a T1. It's going to be like an 8 to 9 minute map, but I also make a huge mistake in my routing. I always forget where the boss is. I always pass this little corner, and then I think I pass it later, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to go up there. Then it's just a dead end, and it's like, oh no, Keith, I hate when I dead name myself. Dead name. Okay. Whatever you want to call it. Damn it. The transgender community is even... Oh, no. All right. Anyways, let's focus up. So this is going to be my last Skelly King video for a while. I know I call myself the Skeleton King, but really I'm a traitor, and I play Poison Necro because it's faster. Also, I get to talk about Poison real quickly. Poison was slightly buffed. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. It is a buff. A buff is a buff. It's better than a nerf. I just don't know how much 1 damage at that scaling will affect your actual mapping ability. It's not going to affect your T1 and T2 very much. Those are already pretty budget and pretty easy to hit. And T3, I still think you'll basically need to be about 2 skills and 2 facets to do it. In fact, maybe not even quite 2 facets and 2 skills off. You're going to have to be pretty tight. So anyways, this is my last skeleton build. I went with the old classic. This is the build I ran for literally 2 seasons. Technically, what you're going to do after this is, if you were running this old build of mine before archers even existed, is you would get your warriors, your skeleton master, your skeleton mages. You'd have your arm of king clerics. Now you'd take that off for group play. And then you max out Tri-Curse, and once you have more skill points, you just start to dump them into revives, because revives are just amazing. Right now, I only have 1 point revives. I put 1 point in the bone armor. I almost never get desecrate. Sometimes I get it. If I'm going to be mapping the 99, I probably end up just biting the bullet and getting it, because usually it means you save 1 swap. Anything else to talk about? No, it's a nice build. It's always worked pretty well, especially with the mage buffs. Armor King Larix isn't worth that much anymore. Mine is anti-perfect. Basically, my skills are 40, 41, 35, I believe. I might be 1 off. I don't think so. And then I go 1 point into Iron Golem, and I get 1 point Golem Mastery. Of course, the 1 point revives. And I'm actually starting to dump more points in the Golem Mastery. You may be wondering, hey, where would your extra points be? And since I wasn't going to keep playing this, I was like, just put a few, 2 or 3 extra skill points in the Golem Mastery and make sure my Iron Golem doesn't die. Even with this pretty low gear, where I've got, plus 20 skills on Skeleton Warriors, but I've only got, plus 15 on most other summoning skills, my Iron Golem barely dies. He does die to map events like Horizon. Horizon just loves to focus the Iron Golem, and he'll die. And why is he nice? Well, he gives you a Mage Slayer, and you might as well make a Mage Slayer out of him. The other good option is Djinns. I was using that earlier, and I loved it because I didn't have a lot of fire res. But my small charms are a bit better in this video. Of course, I've got Colin's Vigor. I swapped to a pretty nice Ami. It's like a 2-way with just tri-res. So I still get some Blood Warp. In fact, I think most of my play was pretty poor because I wasn't used to how high my Blood Warp cooldown was. I probably should have just thrown my extra skill points into that. But I did this pretty quick. I don't know this map as well. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'm definitely going to try and do a traditional Skelly King speedrun later in the season, I kind of want to do just a bunch of different builds. But let's talk about the actual gameplay. So how do you play this build? Well, you run 48 FCR. Like, you really should be at 75 if you're playing Tri-Curse. I always say that. But this is a pretty budget build. I would call this like a week 1 build. Like, if you don't have this in week 1, you play as much as I do, except over like a month. But for a week, it's pretty simple to get this much gear, these breakpoints. Shales are your best friends. FHR is really, really important for a budget Necro, guys. You're not going to be running block because you just can't afford it. Bone Armor really helps. As you also noticed, they nerfed the damage in T1s. I don't understand the direction of this game right now. T1s are easier than LOD. Like, basically, they feel like M level 80, if that. I honestly think they feel easier than M level 80. Now, they do more damage, but they just nerfed the physical damage in T1s by 16%, I believe, something like that. And they nerfed the damage in T2s by like 8%, physical only. But basically, you're always going to be capping your res. It's like the first job in hell is you cap your res. And since their life is so low, like M level 80 is like nothing, guys. It's like nothing to deal with. They drop every item in the game. The density is basically better than any M level 85 area. Like here, I don't know. Like I'm like thinking the boss is like in that little gate or something. I don't know. I actually really like this map. I wanted to talk about that too. I like the caves into like the monastery layout. I think it works really well. Sorry, I'm getting some like a little bit of hiccups right there. Anything else? Bone Armor is even better. This reduced the physical damage basically means that Bone Armor lasts a little bit longer. And like a 16% nerf to an enemy's damage is pretty insane. I was just having a discussion about Weaken and saying like, oh, Weaken's not very good. It's really not very good, guys. But I do get to bring it up. Let's say you're playing a build similar to this, but you're not running mages. I just ran mages because, I don't know, I wanted to prove a point that mixing elements is fine. And I have my Act 5 Whirlwind Merc. Guys, there's no reason to use a Merc besides the Act 5 Whirlwind Merc. This guy is insane. If you're running like any amount of physical damage. I actually think he's basically as busted as Act 3 with LR. Not quite as busted because Act 3 never dies, and your Act 5 Merc, while he's a lower level, and also before he gets some better gear, will die. If you're wondering how good his gear is, it's really not that good. He's got a meh string of ears. He has a laying of hands, bad core, a gavel of pain, like just a normal gavel of pain, nothing special about it. Nice ED roll, but like not F, no good core. G-Face 2 socket, like that's actually probably the best item he has right now. And you could go, oh, it's pretty good. And I'm like, it is pretty good. And then he's got like, not War Travelers or God, what's the Goblin Toes? Right, I was thinking about Gore Rider. He's got Goblin Toes. So I'm trying to look for the boss again, and I am failing miserably. Like, I really think if I had actually known how to do this map, kind of like the old Landis 3 videos, I probably do it in like sub 8 minutes, but I'll just say it's an 8-minute map. I don't know, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So there you go. Put some points in the Golem Mastery. It's always nice. So anyways, if you were running this build and you wanted to run it without mages and Armor King Larix, which is arguably like not that good, it's definitely not bad. But let's say you wanted to go pure Fizz. Warriors plus Archers plus an Act 5 Merc, you get your Amp. You get your Curse Mastery. And then you go, we solo, I don't need to use LR. It's like, well, you can always use LR because probably there will be some amount of elemental damage at some point, like even your Merc. But it's like, what could you do with that last curse? And I just thought about this while discussing Weaken with somebody saying, Weaken's not very good. Wow, you're stupid. So I'm going to speed it up the times 2 while I run to the boss, and then I'll finish this little topic of mine. If you were running a pure Fizz Necromancer, whatever it is, and you had your Act 5 Merc, and you've got your Amp, right? Your Decrepify. Well, what's your third curse? You could run Life Tap. As you've noticed, I didn't run Life Tap. I didn't feel I needed to. Obviously, I didn't. Like, nothing died. I'm not worried about things dying. Things have died running a T1. Warriors do have very little health, but they have a high regen. I wasn't too worried about it. With the nerf to damage, by the way, I definitely notice a difference. Weaken. And the reason why is if your res is capped and you have Bone Armor, Weaken will help that Bone Armor last even longer. Like, I actually think a physical Necromancer budget with an Act 5 Merc, Tri-Curse, Weaken, actually seems kind of cool. All right, guys. Skelly King out. GG.
Come and play with us. Come and play with us, Daddy.